Welcome, everyone, to the Success Elevated podcast. As always, I'm your host, Hayden Lee, and this is episode 35, and it's going to be a recap episode. We've done a few of these, and it's been a few months since we've had a chance to kind of sit down and go through all of the awesome episodes that we've had, and we've had some great ones. So I wanted to kind of take some time here, go through our most recent guests, talk a little bit about each of them and kind of my favorite points that we hit at. Not going to take too much time today, but just kind of wanted to chat a little bit about each of those podcasts and encourage all of you that are listening to go back and listen to these. We've had some awesome guests, like I said, some awesome topics that I think will help you grow your business if you kind of listen in and take what they're talking about to heart. So we're going to dive right in. Like I said, this is episode 35. We're going to recap here on the Success Elevated podcast. So first and foremost, we had in kind of this most recent batch of episodes, we had Kenyon Martin, who this would have been the third time that he came on the podcast, reoccurring guest. He's a client of ours here at Spot On Solutions, and it's great having such an awesome client so close to us here in Southeast Idaho. So we've been able to work with him on a lot of really cool projects, bounce ideas off of him, and it's great that I can have him here come into our office and chat with him about what he's done to help grow his business. And he's built one of the most successful restoration companies here in Southeast Idaho from the ground up, which has been cool to watch and be a part of, and it's just been really awesome. That particular episode, we talked mostly about getting commercial jobs and how, as a restoration company, you try and kind of grow that sector of your business, right? Every home service contractor, whether you're construction or plumbing or electrician, at some point in your business, I know most of you have had this thought, like, how can I get more commercial work? How do I grow my business in the commercial space, right? Like, because those, at the end of the day, like, those can be great paydays for you and your company. They can be a great way to have consistent work, but just at the end of the day, like, a great revenue source. And so I wanted to talk to Kenyon about that, especially recently. He's recently completed a couple really large, they're commercial jobs, but actually worked with a couple of local high schools on some restoration projects that they had. And I wanted to kind of get down to the secret sauce of how he's able to accomplish such large commercial losses. And there's some really good insights there, and I don't want to give it all away because I want you to go listen in to what he has to offer. But a big part of what I think his success has been, and we talked about it in the episode, but I don't think Kenyon hits on it all that much because it's just something that he naturally does. But building relationships with your competitors is huge. Kenyon, this is something he's always done, and it's just kind of who he is. I don't think it's something he has to consciously think about, but build a positive relationship with your competitors. He's been able to pull in competitors in the local area to help him on some of these larger commercial jobs, and it's been able to help him. In turn, they'll bring Restorite in on work of their own, and it's just a great way to kind of build a network in your area and bounce ideas off each other and find ways to kind of elevate each other, right? Like the cliche phrase is, a rising tide raises all ships, right? Regardless of how big or small you might be. And Kenyon's kind of really taken that to heart. And so that was the big thing for me. And any kind of advice that I would give, like, find a network in your area that can help you. And it's going to help you get more commercial jobs, but at the end of the day, just help you grow your business. So love that from Kenyon. The next one that I wanted to talk about was we had Justin Sifford from Wylander. Justin Sifford came on and talked about a lot of really awesome things within his own career, growing his career in the flooring industry and kind of all that came with that. But we really were able to talk about hiring, and that's kind of the core of what Wylander does. Is they help restoration companies hire great employees and great people. And there was a lot of different aspects to that. And Justin's wife has been a great resource for him. And they started the business together, which is cool to kind of find ways, as husband and wife to work together. And, there's challenges that come with that, but it's really kind of changed their life for the better, right? They've been able to start this business. And Justin really talked about hiring the right people and getting them in the right spots in your organization. Hiring has been a huge topic of discussion all over the country in every industry over the last couple of years, kind of in and out of the pandemic as we've all been dealing with that. A lot of my clients struggle with hiring good employees and then retaining them. And Justin really hit at some cool points there that I don't want to give away. I want you to go listen. But that's the core of what Weilander does. They're a consulting agency, if you will, but they're a way to help you hire good employees. And a key tenet of their business is they don't want to charge astronomical services or astronomical fees for their services. They really just want to help you get the right people in the right positions at your job or at your business. And I just love everything about what Justin's doing over at Weilander. He's been a great partner of ours here at Spot On Solutions, and we look forward to working with him continually in the future. And he's just been Weilander's been a great asset to a lot of our clients, and I think they offer some really cool services that will help you grow your business. Next up was Lisa Lavender. Lisa is amazing, and she has done and grown so many successful businesses. She started and grew a successful restoration company. She now has helped grow a training institute, an education company to help educate and train restoration and restorers and their technicians. But really what we talked about mostly in that episode was having a business continuity plan. It sounds like a big buzzword or vocabulary word, but really what it comes down to is in the event of a disaster, and that disaster could be physical, maybe your business burns down, or it could be something more outside of your control, again, going back to the pandemic over the last couple of years, something outside of the business that shuts your business down. You need to have a game plan for what you're going to do if that happens. And it's something that Lisa saw, 20 years ago when she was working at her restoration company. She saw local businesses that she worked with didn't have a continuity plan when there was a severe flood that happened. And so one of her goals as a way to go and get more commercial work, kind of what we were talking about with Kenyon, but as a way to go get more commercial clients and more commercial jobs, she would go to them with the idea of, hey, let me help you build a business continuity plan if something like this were to happen down the road. Little did she know that, fast forward a few years and we have this global pandemic that shuts businesses down for something that nobody could foresee something like that happen. I know there's probably someone out there that thinks something like that could have happened in the future, but I know for me personally, never could have foreseen something like what we've had to experience over the last couple of years. And really, you have no way to control it, right? And businesses were being forced to close their doors in order to, keep people safe. And how do you plan for that? How do you plan to continue to pay your employees and continue to have revenue coming in so that you can support yourself and your family? Having a business continuity plan is so, so important. So listen to that episode. Lisa Lavender, she talks about some really, really cool things and was really on the forefront of starting this idea of a business continuity plan. It kind of transitions into what we help our clients do here at Spot On Solutions with emergency response planning and an app that we've developed called Plan Ahead. It all kind of ties together, but go check out that episode, and I think it'll really help you get a better understanding of how to plan for when disaster strikes your business. Next up, we had another returning guest, Michael Johnson, one of the business owners here at Spot On Solutions. He also owns kind of our sister agency, which is called Get Found First. Spot On Solutions, we help companies in the home service industries, like restoration, construction, plumbers. We help those people and their companies grow their businesses. Get Found First kind of handles everything else and does everything from small mom pop clothing stores here in Southeast Idaho, which we have a client just down the road from us, or all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. And Michael talked a lot about a recent happening here at Get Found First, where they had a really large client this last spring that left for kind of reasons outside of their control and outside of our control here at Get Found First. And it, was upwards of 30% of Get Found First revenue was that one client and all of their offices. And so it was a big deal for us, or for Get Found First, to try and have to find ways to replace that income. And he talked a lot about how he motivated himself to go out and do those things, how he had to get creative with our employees. I mean, we had just hired a brand new batch of employees, and how we were able to find work for them and not have to lay everyone off. And there's so many different challenges that comes with owning a business like that and having such a large portion of your revenue walk out the door. And so it was a really, really cool episode. It was eye-opening for me. I work at Spot On Solutions, but our sister company, Get Found First, is right here with us here in the same building. And so there was a period of time where we didn't know what was going to happen. And I think a lot of the employees here were pretty nervous. And Michael, kind of behind the scenes, was working all of these things to try and, help grow the business continually and help replace that revenue, which is really, really cool. In conjunction with that, we talked about the Inc. 5000, which is a really cool list that Get Found First is a part of, one of the fastest growing companies in the country. And so it was cool to just kind of talk about all that and replacing revenue and how you got to get creative and all of these different things. So go give that a listen. Next up, I had a good friend of mine, Taylor Merrill, come on the podcast as a client of Spot On Solutions. He owns a carpet cleaning company here in Southeast Idaho. And it was fun to really get him to kind of open up a little bit. Me and him, we hang out occasionally and we'll talk about his business and the challenges that come with running it. But it was fun to get him to really talk about why he started it. And Taylor was really frank, and I love these conversations with business owners and how he was. Sometimes we start businesses because that business is something that we love and we're passionate about, right? And other times we start businesses because we want it to support a different kind of lifestyle that we want. Taylor is really into ranching and rodeo. He's, I like to call him one of my cowboy friends. He does rodeos almost every weekend during the summer and the fall. Travels all over the West and gets to do something that he really loves and is passionate about. And this carpet cleaning business is a way for him to support himself financially so that he can go do those things. And it's a means to an end for him. I don't think Taylor would ever tell you that he loves carpet cleaning. I think he loves people and loves interacting with them and doing those types of things. But he would be the first one to tell you he doesn't love carpet cleaning, but he does it because he's good at it. And it helps him support the lifestyle that he wants to live, which is really, really cool. And it was just a really frank conversation that I think a lot of people are scared to have, right? Like they start this business because they want it to support their lifestyle. And then they don't want to admit that that's the reason they started their business, right? Like most people are like, oh, I really love carpet cleaning, man. I really love just cleaning carpet. It's like, that might be true, but you don't have to lie about it, right? Like you can enjoy carpet cleaning, but also admit that, hey, this is a means for me to go and spend more time with my family, to have the flexibility to own my own business and make my own schedule and do whatever I want to do. It was a cool, frank conversation that Taylor was able to have with me, and it's fun hearing in on his day-to-day struggles of owning and operating a business, and it was just a really cool conversation. So go give that one a listen. Next up, we had the next two guests really were different for me because they both do things that I don't have experience in, and I don't know what that's like. And so it was really, really cool. The first one we had was Carrie Ann Cheney. Carrie Ann has built a really, really successful food blog and now kind of a social media influencing business called Oh Sweet Basil. And it started as just a way for her to share recipes with her friends. And now it's become this kind of national brand where she sells cookbooks and she makes videos of how to cook and bake things. And she talks about her family. And it's just really kind of turned into this awesome brand built around who she is and who her family is. And so many amazing insights. This is one of my favorite interviews. Carrie Ann is just an amazing person to have a conversation with. She's very, very personable. And we talked about some really awesome stuff. But what I wanted to kind of hit at, building a brand that is solely about who you are and who your family is and what you love to do, in my mind, can be challenging, right? Because you are the brand. There's not, the brand isn't, for lack of a better example, it's not like a tennis shoe that you're making or a t-shirt. Your brand isn't a t-shirt that you're going out so you can talk about that product and what makes that product good. The product is you. And so how do you grow that? How do you relate to your audience? How do you do things that in my mind would be challenging? And she really gave a pretty fairly straightforward answer. And there's much more to the podcast, so go check it out. But she really talked about being true to yourself. And if you're true to yourself and you're honest with your listeners and the people that follow you, they're going to believe you, and the business is going to naturally grow. If you try to fake it and hide and are dishonest with people that follow you and your customers, they're going to find out eventually. It might take some time, but they're going to find out eventually. And she really hit on, like, this is who I am. This is who my family is. This is what we'd love to do. We don't make food. We don't do a food blog or sell cookbooks because that's what we want to do to make money. We do that because we love those things. And that's who we are. And I think her customers know that, and the people that follow her know that. And so that's just what makes her brand just continue to grow and build. And it was cool to kind of have an inside look into what it's like to, for lack of a better term, like be a social media influencer, because that's what she is. So anyways, it was just a really, really cool podcast. And that leads right into the next episode that we had, which was with Ashley Sutton. Ashley started a brand, again, kind of a social media brand that's taken off and done much more than that, called the Haircut Box. And the Haircut Box was an idea where she wanted to give families at home the opportunity to save a little bit of money and cut their own hair at home, right? So cut they themselves hair, but also their kids, and just as an opportunity to save them a bunch of money. It's a really unique and cool idea. The whole idea behind the Haircut Box is just amazing. And it was fun to kind of talk to her about manufacturing and going back and forth with people that are making scissors and clippers and getting all of the right products into the box that were of quality, but people could still afford. But again, it kind of came back to what Carrie Ann talked about in the previous episode, which was like building a brand that's you. And so much of Ashley's growth with the Haircut Box is based off social media and being authentic and true to who she is. And that has in turn built a really large customer base, as well as like just increase the total amount of followers that she has. She doesn't just sell you the Haircut Box and say, all right, see you later, have fun, good luck with that. She continues to make videos and tutorials on YouTube and on social media to help people like take the product that she's already sold them. They've already given her money for this product and say, hey, I'm going to help you be better with that product. I'm going to help you learn how to cut hair different ways and do different styles. And, she talked about all of the messages that she gets with just people just thanking her for how much money they're saving. And it's a really cool way. It's a business that she's built, obviously, that's helped her financially and take care of her family. But really, it's a service that she's given. She's helped thousands of people save money every month on something as simple as cutting their kids' hair. But it's given them the opportunity to go on trips and spend more time with their family because they don't have to schedule and go to a hair salon. So really, really cool. Those were two of my favorites of this whole group. And all of them were my favorites, but it was eye-opening to hear about how building a brand that is solely based on who you are, from Carrie Ann and Ashley. And they were two different podcasts and they have different perspectives, but they really were very similar in the fact of like, this is how you build a brand. And it was cool to listen to. The next episode, I got to sit down with Katie and Derek, Katie Harris and Derek Priest, both owners here at Spot On Solutions. And they've been on episodes before, but it was fun to get them both in the same room. Derek lives in Texas, and so he works remote here with us. But it was fun. He had traveled to the office. We were doing some quarterly planning, and it was fun to sit down with him and kind of talk about the genesis of Spot On Solutions and what was the idea that came about between him, Michael, and Katie, and the kind of the funny story that happens along with that. And it was just fun to get Katie and Derek in the same room because they differ in personalities to an extent, but they really are just so passionate about what we're doing here. And it's cool, that passion as an employee of theirs, that passion is, it's infectious, right? Like it makes me more passionate about helping my clients. They really, really care about our clients. They care about the people that they know in the industry. They want to help them grow their businesses. And this is the best way that they found to do it, right? Like starting a digital marketing company was the best way that they found to do this. And it's just cool as an employee to hear your bosses talk the way that they talk about the business. And I can honestly tell you, to give you an inside look, for those that might still be listening, I can honestly tell you that's who they are all the time. When the cameras are off and the microphones are turned off, that is who they are all the time. And it's important for you to know that, because I think people can get the wrong idea on the internet, listening to podcasts, that they can think people are fake. I know I feel that way. When I listen to podcasts occasionally, I'll be like, this person's not that way all the time. But I can honestly say Katie and Derek are 100% that way all the time. They are passionate. They care about their clients and their customers, and they want to see people succeed, me included, their employees included. And it's just, go check out that episode, listen to how passionate they are about this business, and I promise it'll make you feel more passionate about your business as well. So it was fun to have them on. The next episode, I got to have Derek on back to back. So we had Derek in office, and then he traveled back to Texas, and I had him on for another brief podcast to talk about sales. Sales is a huge portion of what everyone does at any business. You don't even have to be in the service industry. If you own a business, sales is a portion of that at some point. Derek likes to divide, when he's looking at a business, he likes to kind of split everything into two categories: marketing and sales, right? Marketing is everything that you do in order to get a potential customer to pick up the phone. Sales is everything you do after they pick up that phone and after that phone rings. Sales is how you close the deal. It's how you close the loop and get people to purchase the good or service that you're trying to sell. Sales is challenging, and I think a lot of people don't necessarily know that. One thing that Derek really hit at when we were talking about selling yourself and your business is oftentimes business owners put their most least qualified people in that sales position, and they don't even know it. In the home service-based industries that we talk about a lot, restoration, construction, plumbing, electricians, whatever it might be, the people that you have answering your phones are your first line of contact with your customers. And you might not think of it this way, but they are the salesmen for your business. And oftentimes we put people in those positions that are new to the industry or maybe don't have as much experience as the business owner. And so you're putting the whole of your business, the revenue of your business, in the hands of someone that might not have as much experience as you. And so what you have to do, and we're not saying that you need to change that, because answering the phones is something that a business owner can't be doing all the time. You've got to have employees there to help you. What Derek really talked about was getting them the proper training and the proper help so that they can be successful, so that you can continue to grow and get more revenue. A big part of that was sales scripts and call scripts and having a system in place so that they can be successful. I don't want to give it all away, so go listen to that episode, but he just hit at some really, really crucial things that seem fairly simple, but will build a system so that your salespeople, your front line, your front service people that are answering the phones so that they can have the most success. So go check out that episode. Derek has been selling himself or his business for 25 years or more, right? Like that's just what he's been doing when he owned a restoration company, and now as he owns a marketing agency, like sales is what he's doing all the time. And it's a portion of it is like selling yourself and who you are and your personality, but also having the knowledge to sell your business. The next episode that we had on was a really special guest. This guest was brought to us by an employee here in the office. Emily is one of our account managers here at Spot On Solutions, and she has a friend of hers that she's built this relationship with, a gentleman by the name of Donald C. Kelly. Donald is an incredible, incredible person. He's built a company called The Sales Evangelist, and he's a public speaker, and he's got his own podcast called The Sales Evangelist, and he talks about sales. And we just kind of spent a few minutes talking about Derek and his sales experience. Donald gave some really, really awesome insights, and he owns a business where he consults other businesses and helps them close the loop when it comes to sales. He specializes in B2B, business to business sales, and helping increase your revenue by getting some proper sales training to your salespeople. The Sales Evangelist is an incredible organization that really, really focuses on those things. Donald is an amazing speaker. You can tell he's a podcaster by sitting down and having that conversation with him. He lives in Florida, but he was up here in Idaho because he was going to speak at Brigham Young University, Idaho, at an event recently. So we got to have him in the office, which was incredible. So please, please, please check out that episode. Donald gives some great insights and talks about a ton of awesome things. But what I wanted to kind of hit at, to kind of give you a teaser, he spends about 5 minutes towards the end of the episode talking about how sales is hard, and not everyone has a natural gift for sales, but whatever industry that you own a business in, you are the expert in that industry. And explain, if you want to sell your business and sell your services, you need to come across as the expert and explain to the customer, the potential customer, that you are the expert, that you know what you're talking about. Explain to them how your business is going to help them. And Donald gives some amazing, amazing insights into how to actually sell. Him and his family are originally from Jamaica, and he grew up poor and understanding that like selling yourself and being an entrepreneur is just kind of part of everyday life, because you have to make ends meet. And he just has some really, really awesome stories about growing up in Jamaica and eventually in the U.S. and how sales was just kind of a part of who he is, and how he was able to grow himself into who he is today. And it's just it's a really, really awesome episode. Please go check it out. Okay, so we're down to the last couple. So the next episode we had on was Shane Campbell. Shane Campbell owns an HR consulting business. He's actually our HR consultant here at Spot On Solutions. And we were able to talk a lot about human resources and bringing the human back into human resources. HR, for me especially, can be a little intimidating. I've had some pretty poor experiences with HR at previous companies. And I asked Shane kind of point blank about it. Like, why do people hate HR? Like, why do people hate talking to the HR person at their business? And he talked about there's a lot of challenges that come with it, but a lot of times at the end of the day, the only time you ever have an interaction with somebody from HR, it's in a negative light. They're disciplining you. It's your year review, and they're trying to just nickel and dime you and give you a bunch of negative reviews so that you don't get a raise, right? Like, everybody's had an experience like that. What Shane has tried to do throughout his career, whether it was now as his own HR consultant or in the past when he worked at several large companies as their HR manager, Shane has tried always to have positive experiences with the employees there and help employees see that he's on their side, that he wants them to be successful and grow within their careers. He doesn't want people to feel like every time he has an interaction with them, it's in a disciplinary fashion. And I can tell you from experience that that's actually how he operates. We have conversations all the time. Shane is in our office a couple days a week when he's not helping other businesses. And it's great. I mean, he just pulled me in the other day just to tell me thank you. for the work that I've been doing. And I can tell you as an employee, that makes me feel cared for and appreciated. And just having someone like saying something as simple as like, hey, thank you for your hard work, that no HR manager or representative has ever said that to me, has ever pulled me into an office and said, thank you for your hard work. And I would assume most of the listeners here probably have had similar experiences. So like put the human back into human resources. And it was an awesome conversation to kind of sit down and pick Shane's brain a little bit. Go check it out. He has some great insights. Not every business has the capacity to have an employee that's dedicated for just human resources, but maybe you as business owners need to look into maybe hiring a consultant like Shane that can come in and help you with the hiring and the training process, but also help bring back the human into human resources. Anyways, the last episode that I want to talk about was our most recent episode from last week. We had Taylor Ball onto the podcast. Taylor is an American Family Insurance agent and is an agency owner for American Family Insurance, but also owns a local gym here in Blackfoot, Idaho. And it was fun to kind of sit down with him and talk about the differences between the two industries. And he talked about one business he kind of started because he needed to, it was out of necessity. And the other one he started because he wanted to. And he loves, the fitness industry. And it was fun to kind of hear the difference between the two and how it's possible to have both. It's possible to start a business out of necessity and then also start a business because you love it and you're passionate about it. And it was just really cool to hear the challenges that he's faced over the last couple of years with the gym, and how like there was a portion over the last couple of years, a portion of time where his business was completely shut down, and how he was able to survive and continue to pay his employees. And Taylor is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to insurance and the insurance industry, when it comes to like restoration, but also just in owning a business in general. And he's a soft-spoken guy that is really, really passionate about helping people, whether it's helping them become more healthy with through fitness, or helping them protect the people that they love and their homes and their cars. And it was cool to sit down with him and talk about how much he cares about his customers. And he's built a customer base over the last 15, 20 years. And he's had customers for over the last 15, 20 years that have stayed with him that entire time because he cares about them and he cares about who they are. Just really, really cool. So go give that episode a listen. That is the last episode that I wanted to cover in our most recent, it gets us caught up to the most recent episode. We have a lot of awesome guests lined up over the next couple of months. Please check us out. We're available on all podcast platforms. Please subscribe. Leave us a review. We would love to hear what we could do better, what you like about the podcast. And I look forward to hearing more from you, the listener. So thanks for checking us out. I hope to hopefully have more awesome guests like we've had over the last few months. And I'm excited for the future. So thanks for tuning in. This has been Success Elevated, making you a little bit better one show at a time. Thanks for joining us. Please subscribe on YouTube or any other major podcast platform to listen to more episodes. We are proudly brought to you by Spot On Solutions. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help you grow your business, please check us out at spotonsolutions.com.